Words in my toes makes me crinkle my nose.
My nose.
Wherever it goes, I always. I don't know why
Wait,
that
I
song
was
came to
trying to
my
think
mind.
during this episode there was a Harry Styles song that came on. I think it was a
Oh, it was the
was
"You
it?
don't have to say you love me."
Yeah,
Na na
adore
na na
you.
na na na. Na. That's a good Harry Styles song. Uh,
Harry
uh.
Styles is kind of amazing.
He
Walk through
is.
fire for you. Just
Ooh,
let me adore you.
like it's the only
Oh,
thing
huh.
I'll ever do.
We always,
That is a good
Brenda's
one.
like, what song should we sing as we intro?
I think I went to Colby Calais because Gia's sister went to some event last night and Colby Calais was randomly performing.
I'm so out of the loop that I thought Colby Calais was a place or a restaurant.
No, it's a woman.
He's like, I went to Colby Calais. I'm like, you went to a place? No, Colby
Interesting.
Calais
What
is a
kind of
person.
food? No, she's a singer. Bubbly, the song. That's the song I was singing.
Oh, that's
Starts
the
in like,
name of it. I
oh
know that
Lord, here
song.
we go. All right.
I was like, bubbly, Michael Bublé.
Buble, Michael. Oh, we should have done that. What's one of his songs?
All of them are amazing. Well, he does a lot of Frank Sinatra covers. Does he have an original?
Another summer day, and then I get away to
Mm,
Paris and Rome, but I want to go home.
we're never on the same page, but it's okay.
That's okay. That's all good. Maggie, how are you?
Brandon, I'm actually doing really good. Finally had a weekend where I can kind of just chill, which is
Love
much
that.
needed. I do feel like I spent a lot of it in front of screens, so I'd like to step outside after we're done today. But other than
Okay.
that, I'm actually feeling very good. How are you?
I'm good. Same. Yesterday was Saturday. I did a lot of my cleaning and laundry yesterday because I
Mm-hmm.
had most of the day free, and I'm happy about that because I can relax more today. And then I went
Yeah.
and saw some of our besties at
Our
night and like hung out. So
besties.
it was fun.
I'm
I
glad you had
will
a good
say, I think
time.
I'm officially over ordering from cookie places.
Yeah, what happened?
They're just never as good as you think they're gonna be.
Uh,
Like,
it's funny. I literally had the same conversation with Obi this morning. Continue.
even like, because what is it? Maybe, and I don't even want to say it's because if you order Uber Eats, because I feel like it's the same if you go. It's like I ordered Crave on Friday, and like I got like the cookie croissant
Mm-hmm.
thing, and the cookie just wasn't baked in the middle. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I started to eat it and I was just like, I could warm it up, but then I was just too lazy, so I didn't. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this just isn't the experience I wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
then yesterday, and then we had even gotten another like chocolate chip cookie for my dad. He didn't
Yeah.
even eat it all. I ate like the rest on Saturday because the thing about me is if I'm gonna eat bad, I'm gonna eat bad. There's no chill with me. I need to like,
Yeah.
I need to find a chill. Um, and so I ate it the next day and I was just like, this isn't cooked like in the middle. It's
That's
just not
crazy.
cooked. And then we got crumble cookie last night for like all of us. There was like
Mm-hmm.
five of us. And I was like excited because they had like the lemon blackberry cake thing. It
Mm-hmm.
sucked. People were saying it's so
Mm.
good. It literally fucking sucked. The Kentucky butter cake sucked. It just like these
Oh,
cookies aren't, it's just too much. And it's like, what is
it's
this
too much.
for? What was I made for? The worst. And I
No,
just
what was
can't
I
do
made
this.
for? You're so funny.
Uh,
No, I was so Obi and I also went out to eat. We went, I don't remember. Oh, we went to Burger Culture on Friday night.
okay.
Supposed to be like very popular burger spot. We pull up, no one's there. It was like 9 9:30. Nobody's there. I was like, it's Friday night. No, it's empty. It's this big ass place. We're the only two people in it. They have like a space to sit outside, space to sit inside, games, like yard games and stuff. Nobody's there. I'm like, okay, whatever. We order and like the burgers were just like really salty. I mean, like the concept on the menu, it looks really good. Whatever you order, it looks great. And then it just
Yeah.
didn't hit. And so yesterday morning, he was like, I'm really bummed that the burgers were bad. And I was like, are you? You know? And then we got dessert yesterday. There's a place called Peach Cobbler or Peach something.
It's the
Peach, you
Peach
know what I'm talking
Cobbler
about?
Factory.
The Peach
The
Cobbler
banana, did you get the
Factory.
banana pudding?
I got a cinnamon roll and he got peach cobbler with ice cream. I got cinnamon roll and ice cream. I actually really liked my cinnamon roll. It was very gooey and stuff. It wasn't warm. I had to warm it up myself.
Mm.
But I think the problem is that like on paper, the idea of what I'm about to buy sounds really good, but it often doesn't deliver. Like, and I think the problem is that we in our heads think it's gonna be great, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just mid, and which is the same as eating at home, right? Like you, when you eat at home, it's like this is a good meal. I just, it's not exciting. There's no pizzazz. Then you go out for pizzazz, and it's like this also sucks. Like
Yeah.
it sucks.
It just really, it depends. The moments of being super impressed and enamored by food you get are few and far between,
They really are.
and
Like,
it's tough.
think, when's the last time you had a meal that you were like, this is amazing? This meal is amazing, or this dessert is amazing.
I want to say, I don't know. I can't even think about it.
Exactly.
It's not coming to
Neither can
mind.
I. Right. Neither can I. So it's just like it almost makes me so like now when I'm like trying to like eat out less, I also have to remember like it's just food. It's gonna be all right. I try not to
Yeah.
get excited over stuff anymore unless I'm going to like a really fancy place.
Yeah.
It's not like nasty, but it's not amazingly delicious.
Yeah, no, because I tried to make yesterday to try to be a little healthy this tomato toast that this
Hmm.
one creator made. And I mean, it was basically the same, just a little different, and it sucked. I was like,
Mm.
why did I make this?
I think
Terrible.
the problem is that stuff looks good, but you know,
It's
it
always
we
missing
look at
something.
something exactly. Like we look at something and we're like, this is gonna taste amazing. And it usually doesn't.
No. So that's our gripe. You know what really grinds our gears? Food
Food not
sucks.
tasty. Food does not hit.
We
And
need
then
to get it together.
it makes me feel like, okay, I need to like lower my standards. Like Chick-fil-A. Sometimes I'm like, I really want Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is almost always mid. Like it tastes okay. It's fine. It's just mid. It's not amazing. It's
Their
just
honey
okay.
pimento is good
Sandwich.
though. The
The sandwich is
sandwich.
great. The one, but I got it again. You know what I mean? Like
It
after you
depends
eat
when you
it.
get it, yeah. And
Yeah.
it doesn't always hit. I did make, I was in my baking era last weekend and I found this quick recipe for everything bagel cookies. And it's basically almost
What,
like a
Brandon?
sugar cookie and you bake it
Okay.
with the everything bagel seasoning. So it's like a sweet and salty.
How was that?
It was actually good.
Oh,
Not gonna lie. Because
I was immediately judgmental. I was like,
I know,
everything
I saw
bagel
your face.
cookie.
I sensed your tone.
A
But that's
cookie
fine.
with
You probably would have liked it.
I tend to like a sweet and a savory. We have different taste buds, but I think I probably would have liked it. I like everything bagels.
It was good. It probably would have been good too with like a cream cheese icing, but I didn't go that crazy. But
Yeah.
anyways, on to the next topic. Maggie said she wanted to bring up something in regards to her being a more responsible podcaster.
Podcaster.
I don't know what
So
this means or what she's gonna say, but we're gonna give her the floor. And I'm on this journey with you guys. So
not you not you giving me the floor. Brandon's basically like, I don't know what she's about to talk about. I'm bracing myself as well. We will see what this girl has to say. Okay, no. Daniela was on TikTok this week and
oh
she made
yes.
me feel very sad.
Oh
Not
yeah.
sure if y'all saw what Daniela had to say. Honestly, it was a little hard to follow.
She
Because she
was in
was
an
so
emotional
chucked.
state.
She
Yeah.
was distraught. So I think I understood what she had to say, but like she was, because she was like kind of like hinting at something. She was hinting at like, because the reunion had just happened. And I think, when did I see this? I don't remember. The reunion that just happened, which I think was last weekend, Brandon. Monday or Tuesday, maybe? Or
Maybe,
last
yeah.
Friday or Saturday.
Sometime last week.
Okay. Today's Sunday, we're recording. This doesn't matter, Magdala. Get to the point. Get it out. Daniela is upset, and I'm upset too.
Yes, because she did. It did seem like because she was referencing the reunion, but she wasn't giving details. So it
She
was kind of
wasn't.
like, wait, what is she talking about? But then we could kind of
Right.
see, like, oh, it's because something happened at the reunion.
Right. And she's basically saying that, like, she was just alluding to the fact that she feels like some people on the cast are going through it.
Hmm.
And she's concerned for their mental health. She's
Yeah.
concerned that they could hurt themselves. She's concerned that they might commit suicide. And I think she's had experiences in the past where people have done that. And so she's very like upset and is basically asking people to chill out. Like, guys, we're
Hmm.
humans too. We're people too. Like, I'm having a really hard time like seeing my friends go through this.
Yeah.
And it made me feel bad because, and I'm sure you can relate, Brandon, the problem is like when I watch shows, I get in my feelings about the things happening on these shows. For
Yeah.
example, I've had very strong words towards Rob and Aaron, and like being like, oh, they suck, they this, they that, like
Yeah.
Rob's a bitch in his overalls, what have you. And then it made me think like, but also I really don't know that guy,
Yeah.
like, not to say that I can't talk about what I'm seeing on the show, but I also feel like sometimes I don't remember that like this is just some dude who catches snakes and or doesn't. Like, I don't know him. He's a character on this show. And the
Yeah.
way that they've chopped and screwed this show is that he's a bad dude, to some, to me, from what I saw on Love Island season 6. Like, I'm not a fan of Rob. I'm not a fan of Aaron, but they also didn't spend a whole lot of time showing us the whole person or like all of who these guys are. They could be, I'm sure they are nice guys with just some flaws like anybody else. Shit.
Yeah.
Like, I have the luxury of being on a podcast where I can talk about things and cut stuff out after I listen back, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't nice. And they don't.
Yeah.
Their editing is up to a producer somewhere who has other interests and really doesn't care about these two men on their show.
Right.
And so like it almost makes me want to preface things when we talk about these people, like, I'm very annoyed, I'm very frustrated. I think Rob is this or that, but I don't really know him, and he probably is, like, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
almost makes me want to have like a little more of a level head when I'm discussing these people, like, to always bring it back to this person on the show acts like this. I'm not a fan of it, but I know I'm not seeing the whole picture. Almost to like kind of preface that, because in us speaking about these people in negative ways, other people could hear us talking about them in negative ways, and they could start trolling them online. Like,
Yeah.
we collectively don't like, Magdala and Brandon are on my side, and I'm like,
It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We were just commenting on the episode. Chill.
exactly. Like, I almost want to preface it like, yes, I'm not a fan of who I saw him on the show as, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have room for growth. That doesn't mean that he's not a person who is worth caring about. That doesn't mean I'm gonna like go on his comments and troll him. We've talked a lot
Yeah.
about anti-trolling, like we're not fans of that. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
almost want to like have this dichotomy where we can talk about what we see because that's what we see, but also like bring it back to, I'm sure I don't see this whole person. I'm sure this guy is not, a terrible person. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a balance.
A little
Or just
just,
like a
yeah.
disclaimer. Hey, while we do feel this way, I don't want this person to hurt themselves. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how can we balance? You know?
It's hard because it's like, I feel like it's because like the thing like with us specifically, and I think with a lot of different podcasts, it's like we're just saying our comments, and sometimes it's rude, but it's like funny, and it's like about the
Yes.
episode. Like it's not like again, we're not going to them and being like,
Yes.
"Hey, what the fuck?" and like commenting. Like that's different. I think,
Yeah.
I think it's fine to give negative commentary
Mm-hmm.
about what you see, but it's just the constant like trolling and like that stuff that's really. And I think it's good to put the disclaimer like this is just based off the episode. Like we're commenting on the episode. Like we don't know these people like that. And I feel like we do for the most part. Like even with
Yeah.
Andrea, we're like, we don't know her. But from this, it seems a little
I mean, yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that I just want to like have like a little disclaimer, like, yes, after I'm done ranting for 5 minutes, but he's probably a good guy, and this is what I'm seeing about him on the show. You know what I mean? But like, and I'm sure people listening can relate. I get mad. Like, I actually get, I like, not that I relate to trolls, but I understand why someone could get there because, something you did triggered them or whatever. Like, Rob's behavior on this season really made me mad. Like,
yeah.
not you gaslighting the nicest girl I've ever met. Man, look at, and I don't even know her. You know what I mean? Like, I think we get emotional, we get passionate about things, and
Hmm.
we forget that we're watching a TV show and we don't know these people. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
almost like an internal check for myself, and then also a check for those listening. Like, hey, we can talk about this, but I don't want someone to hurt themselves. I don't want to be a part of um I don't want to be a part of like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be a
Yeah.
part of that side of it where
Yeah, that side where people
it's
are
going
just
too
like
far.
ruthless and reckless and just
Right.
keep commenting and like
Right.
keep like making someone feel a certain way.
Right.
And like yeah, I've said before, I don't understand that like commenting on people's things. I'm like, again, it's
Yeah.
one thing to say it in the podcast, make some jokes, whatever, but then you leave it and you're like, okay, that was the joke about the episode and about them. We always say too, I'm sure if we met them, we'd all get along. They seem like they'd be
Right.
fun and nice. Like, but this
Right.
is just, it is what it is. Like, Andrea was
Yeah.
cringe. Rob wore dirty overalls for half the season. Aaron couldn't keep his mouth shut to hide his
um
teeth.
yeah.
Johnny didn't have a neck. Like these are things, but we would never comment these things and like
No.
berate them because then that
Right.
gets to the point because it's just like constant. And I think too, it's so many I think Daniela said this, and I think a lot of people said it. This season blew up more than anyone expected.
Yeah, I did.
So it's kind of just like they just even getting into this, they didn't know like the capacity to which they're getting into this and how much hate they'd be
Yeah.
receiving. There's still comments like on Andrea stuff and like other people's stuff. And it's not even just like the comments, it's then those comments will have like thousands of likes.
Likes.
And
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
that's the
Yeah.
main thing. Because if you really look at the comments, it's kind of like they're bad, but then it's like this comment has like 12,000 likes. It's like, oh my God, 12,000 people agreed with this
Right.
horrible statement about me.
Right. And
And I
and
also
then
think it's different saying something bad about something you did as opposed to saying something like just nasty and
personal.
gross about something that's like personal. Like the
Right.
people who
Like
send like death threats and stuff, like
that's
that's like
I don't understand.
insane.
I think that that person who's sending death threats probably has like some counseling to do because I don't understand how you could get to that place. That's a way
Yeah.
too far. Unless like, I don't know, you did something worth you know what I mean? Like if Rob shot Leah on, you know what I mean? Like, okay, then we
Yeah.
could be like, but even at that point, it's like you're not judge, jury, and executioner. You're just a viewer. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if something literally serious was happening, yes, we need to go to change.org. We need to do something about it. But if somebody's just behaving in a way that you don't like, to send them a death threat is kind of just crazy, you know?
Yeah. It's just, it's insane behavior. And I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone on reality TV gets that because I've seen so many people on Bravo say they get those, and it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
common, like whatever. but
Yeah.
it's just like insane. And I can only imagine what these Love Island people are getting. Like it's just so much. And it's just
Right.
constant. And even like I saw someone on Twitter try to comfort Daniela and be like, oh, what about production? And they actually should be the ones that are kinder to y'all and like all this. And I'm like, not to say you don't have a point, but also it is on y'all because Twitter's like ruthless. Twitter is a place where they literally make up so much shit and just like
Mm,
make it as fact and spread this hate. And it's actually insane. And it's like,
yeah.
y'all, just be normal. Like, what happened to
Yeah.
just watching a show, okay, saying some stuff, but it is a little, thinking about like when, because it is kind of like, it's slightly hypocritical for us podcasters. And think this with a lot of podcasts I listen to, because it
Hmm.
is like, we do say stuff, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's lighthearted, it's different. Sometimes snark is fun. And that's my opinion, because maybe somebody listening would be like, y'all are like saying stuff that's too mean and da da
Mean.
da da da.
Yeah.
But it's like, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like, we're not coming from like a malicious place. Like we're
Definitely
coming
not.
on that episode and like we make fun of ourselves just as much. So it's kind of just like if not more. So it's like it's all to me that's more funny banter as
Yeah.
opposed to bullying and berating people.
Exactly. Like, yes, I think that there's a difference. I agree. I think there's a difference. And I don't think we often go for personal under the jugular attacks. Like, I don't think we do like things like that. You know what I mean? So
Um
it just makes me want to be more mindful of like bringing myself down because I know I actually do kind of like get annoyed with things that I see and I can talk
yeah.
harshly about somebody, but I also want to just bring it back. Like these people are human. Disclaimer, like,
Yeah.
this is just a show. But I also really am curious how these producers sleep at night because it's kind of crazy. Not necessary. I don't know about Love Island. Well, what Leah said about Love Island and how they would like record her crying and stuff like that like is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. I get it. They have a show to produce, but them manipulating things in a way to look away is very concerning. Like, I feel like they kind of manipulated the Leah and Rob situation to make it seem like, I mean, it was a big deal to them, but how Leah talks about her relationship with Rob is not what we saw. So it almost makes me feel like we saw the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Or it was clipped in a way to make it seem like it was bigger than it was. Cause
Yeah.
or it was like that and they just weren't being honest. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. I think one of two ways because I do think in some ways it's almost like, well, what can you do? Because you can't show everything. So they
Yeah.
gotta edit it. You're not gonna see everything. Context will be lost.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like there are things with the editing where it's like, okay, you clearly are trying to paint this narrative, like the movie night, where it was like
Yes.
showing Leah without context go off on Rob. And then it's like
Exactly.
she's apologetic. So there is moments where it's like, okay, y'all are trying to push a certain agenda. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes reality TV is a little stuck in the past of the men being able to get away with everything and the
Yeah.
women often being seen as like crazy. Like it
Yeah.
happens on Bravo too. It happened, we talked about Vanderpump Rules. They thought the audience would be over Ariana and willing to forgive Tom Sandoval. That was crazy.
That was
But
crazy to me. That was, and that I think that's a good example because it's just like you guys were really trying to push something and
yeah.
like most of America was like absolutely not. So it just kind of goes to show like they really have a story they're trying to tell that isn't always in sync with what the public is saying. And like at the time that it was coming out, everybody was like basically against the narrative. Even how we were like Leah, like support for Leah. And on After Sun, they were like, Leah's all right. And I'm like, but she's not.
But is she?
She's not okay. Ariana, I don't you're also saying it without saying it. Basically, they were like trying to defend their edit through Ariana on After Sun.
Yeah, because I remember people were commenting under Ariana's post being like, how could you do this to Leah? And it's like, I just
Literally.
host. Like, what do you mean? I don't edit.
Right. So the way that the show goes is like they make it ahead of time. They have an impression that this is going to be received XYZ way, and then it goes out and it's not perceived like that. And so then it's like, well, what do you do? With
Yeah.
Vanderpump Rules, they were screwed, you
Yeah,
know?
Love Island's tricky too because it's more real time. So they can
Yeah.
kind of see what the audience is thinking, but then they like would make odd choices that were like,
Right. I was like,
I
did you
don't
really
know.
think that we would want Leah on movie night to look like the bad guy? Like, that's beyond me.
Yeah, that
Sure,
was
show both sides, but show both, not just one. The fuck?
right. And then maybe they could apologize to each other, you know?
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's a
Even
mess.
on, yeah,
Oh
it
no, you go.
is. I was gonna say, even Andrea, think about it. All we saw was Andrea being catty and her like, connecting with Rob. We saw one long talk with her and Rob, and after that we just saw them together. We didn't
Yeah.
hear conversations. We didn't see her being nice to the other girls. They literally painted Andrea in a light like she's Mr. or she's Mrs. Steal Your Man, basically. This is how she is. And she's catty and she's this. And it's like I'm sure there was more to Andrea. And then her after the show doesn't help
It
because
didn't she
like
do herself any
she
favors.
proceeded to say a lot of things that was like, oh girl, what? You think
Like,
you could
ooh.
take Miguel? You think you could do this? So that didn't help her case. But I'm just saying, like, we didn't see a whole picture for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Leah even had said on some interview that her and Andrea would like get along during like off days and like do each
Right.
other's like hair or makeup or something like that. So
Right.
it's
And
just
it's
like,
like,
okay, so like, yeah, they don't show everything. I
they don't
think
show
too,
everything.
Andrea was upset about how she was sent home, which I could get that. So it
Yeah.
made her even more catty. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that people just don't allow for nuance because even
Mm-mm.
Daya just did a live and she was like, I'm don't like Love Island. I don't like the producers because they knew that they could have easily found out that in that tweet challenge that that screenshot of me commenting under OBJ's post was photoshopped because it was Photoshop.
Mm.
The person came forward and said it wasn't Photoshop, but y'all put it on there and tried to make me look a certain way. But
Exactly.
like, and y'all like the show at that time was like blowing up. Like, you couldn't have done your diligence. And I'm like, low key facts. Like, they could have left that part out. Or even
Right.
like found a tweet that said, I think Daya's doing this. Because to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. That's an audience. They think that for whatever reason. I think,
Mm-hmm.
if that's how you're being perceived, like it shows some insights, catty, but it is what it is. At least it's more like showing it as a
Yeah.
thought than a fact. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. And I think it's two ways. Like on one end, I'm like, are you guys tone deaf? Like, did you think that we wanted to see certain things? Because the Daya tweet validated a lot of people who are like, oh, I think she just likes him for his brother. I think she just likes him for his brother, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like you heard us about that, but you didn't hear us about Leah and like show the truth about Rob, you know? And
Yeah.
then if I think about it all together, this is probably what they want. They probably just want drama so that people go watch. Like
Yeah.
their intention is not to produce a show where people find love. It's to produce a show where people find love and has enough drama that the show blows up, you know? So like I don't know how they sleep at night because like you could low key ruin someone's life and their mental like I think the show should be I don't know what they do for mental health, but I think they should do a lot. I mean like for Daniela even to get on live crying kind of makes me feel like there's not a whole lot of support for them. Like I feel like after the show there should be like somebody to be there to be like, "Hey, look, this is how people on the internet are. Yes, this is how you were portrayed, but we care about you as a person. We want you to be okay. Here's counseling for 2 years. You could see this person every day of the week if you wanted to. Talk to a
Yeah.
psychologist. You know what I mean? Do some or hey guys, we're sending you all to a meditative retreat for a week something like you guys they should be doing something to like help these people recuperate. We understand you were on a TV show. We appreciate that you participated, but we also want to take care of you in the long term because what 3 people, a host and 2 participants have committed suicide from Love Island.
Yeah, I think like the
So
UK version or something like that.
yeah, and I don't necessarily know if that's a reflection of like if it's just a show or if there were other things, but regardless, there should be overall care for
Mm-hmm.
these individuals moving forward because
I
for the
agree.
rest of their life they're going to be portrayed like this, you know? Like somebody could be watching Love Island season 6 in 10 years and be blowing up their DMs. You know what I mean? Like
Right?
So they should definitely be caring for their participants. I don't know how they are, but I hope they are. Like, it reminds me of Love is Blind and all the drama around Love is Blind. Like, it's bad. Like,
Yeah.
some girl, like this girl is like in an active lawsuit because the guy that she ended up becoming engaged to had like addiction problems, all this stuff. They didn't do background checks. Other people, one girl last season was like assaulted. Like, and they're basically trying to come for Love is Blind, like you guys are not, taking care of your participants at all.
Yeah.
At least we haven't heard anything like that about Love Island, but I just feel like in general these reality TV shows need to be doing more due diligence on the upfront, and then on the on the outtake, like taking care of their people.
Yeah. And it's just like they have the resources, so I don't understand why they don't do it.
Right.
Like,
I don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
they do. Maybe they do something, but doesn't sound like it.
It
Like
doesn't.
Kane. The whole thing that
Okay.
happened with Kane
Mm-hmm.
really concerned me. Kane was like so he got uninvited from the reunion, and then he got in trouble for saying something kind of insensitive about chopsticks. He
Mm-hmm.
called like chopsticks like kind of something that was not like respectful towards the Asian community. So
Yeah.
people started canceling him. And so he got on live and he was basically apologizing. And I felt like his apology was sincere. Did you see it, Brandon?
I don't think I did. I saw he posted a lot of videos is the thing.
The problem is he posts a lot. But the one in particular, he was just apologizing and he was explaining, like, like I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know they were called chopsticks. And like I was just making a joke with my friend, but like I'm not racist. And like he was defending himself basically and was shaking Brandon. Like you could hear it in his voice, you could see it in his body language. Like he was shook
Yeah.
from like all of the negative attention he was getting. And
Mm-hmm.
then I guess he got home and like was saying like he had to stay with his mom. His mom was like checking on him. Kane's not in a good mental place, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's because of stuff that he's doing, and but the response is so intense that he's like having a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah.
Um and so that makes me feel like these guys have no support from production or anybody.
I
Like I
know.
don't know if there's someone for him to talk to, but it doesn't seem like it. Or if there is, he's not using it.
Yeah, because even what is it? Leah after the reunion, she said she's not doing any more press and she's like over it all and she's like unsubscribing from the drama and everything. And she's been very vocal
Yeah.
about production. So,
She has been too. Yeah, I guess Kane called out a producer. I think Janae and Serena defended the producer, but he named
yeah.
someone specifically to be like you
She like said
specifically.
something about me to someone, they told me, and then it was like
Hmm.
Serena, Liv, and I think Janae or maybe it was Leah were just like, she's literally like the sweetest producer. Like, why are you saying this? And I'm
Yeah.
just like, all right. Because so maybe not all producers are bad. There's
Right.
just
I'm sure they're
some.
not. I just wonder what the responsibility is like, and maybe this that's happening right. I hope that this that's happening right now could start a bigger conversation about how to care for people overall on the show
Yeah,
and
because
after the
I'll
show.
even say maybe a lot of the like the production didn't know this season was gonna blow up the way it blew up because it went
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So
It
like
did.
I could see that too, but maybe it's be more mindful even if you don't think it's gonna blow up to like take care of your talent and like make
Exactly.
sure they're okay and like at least being like looked out for, you know?
Right. Right. Like I think like get refer paying for therapy or counseling, whatever, on a weekly basis, daily basis, maybe at first, and then weekly trickling off, and then like sending them somewhere. Hey, like, we know you live in XYZ state. You can go to this retreat center, or we know this place in Boston, whatever. Go
Yeah,
somewhere. I feel like that could be for a weekend. Fuck. I don't know what you
right.
have the budget for, but like pay for something.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it too is people bring up editing and like getting rid of certain things and making certain things look a certain way. And it's like, well, the show can't come forward and be like, we lied.
Yeah,
So then
because
that
that's
part's tricky.
right.
But then it's just like, I don't know. I think also people need to fucking chill in the comments and realize it's a show. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, say,
like,
you know, I think saying that you don't agree with something in like a baseline thing like that, like I don't like that you did this. Like that's
hmm,
fine. But when it gets more
yeah.
personal and like mean, that's where it's just
Hmm.
like, okay, you're just like trolling them nonstop. That's just too
Exactly,
much.
because I think at the end of the day, everybody has to remember that we're human. Like, come on. I have bad days. I'm not always nice to people. I say things that are mean sometimes. I do things that are shitty sometimes. I'm not always like the nicest
Most of
friend
the
or,
time to
you know.
me. Just kidding.
Me and Brandon berate each other on the regular, you
Constantly.
know. So
Uh,
it's just like, uh, it's a double-edged sword because I think these shows people watch them because it's drama and it's like, oh, they make me feel better about my life, blah blah blah. But also it's like, you also have to remember that they're human just like you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, calm down. Y'all
Hmm.
commented when they first left. Okay, you don't have to comment on every video and then get more and
Exactly.
more awful with your comments. Like, okay, you didn't like this situation, you didn't like they did this. You told
Move
them.
on.
It's great. They
Yeah.
know. They got it. I'm sure in some respect,
Yeah.
either they agree or disagree. Whatever. You don't know these
Yeah.
people. Like,
Yeah.
chill. It's not that
And
serious, y'all.
right. And it's like I'll be annoyed by something maybe for an hour or two, and then I might forget and remember when we start talking about it again. But some people seem like they're upset for a while. Like I saw
Yeah.
online, they were going into the studio where they were doing the reunion in New York, and Rob was posing with pictures with people. Like Aaron
Yeah.
just walked inside, but like Rob was like posing with people and taking pictures with them. And like I feel like both can be true. Like you could dislike what someone does, but there's always going to be somebody who does. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Rob, but these people are. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the two things can happen at the same time. So that was just kind of like when I saw her post, it kind of made me feel like, dang, how can I like as somebody who is could contribute to this negativity, do something to help. And I feel like just a general disclaimer.
Right.
And I thought of it the other day. I didn't write it down, but I'm just going to be saying something to the effect of like, this is from what I see, this is how I feel. At the end of the day, I don't know these people,
Yeah.
you know?
We're here to have a laugh, have a good moment, be shady.
Mm-hmm.
This is called the
Mm-hmm.
shade of it all, as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like create like a space where we can talk about it. But at the end of the day, realize we don't know these people and they're probably fine.
With all that being said, the reunion is coming up tomorrow. Super excited to watch. Super excited to see what happens, what is revealed. I hope some exciting things are coming. But we're also doing our rewatch, well, not a rewatch, but a rewind back to season 2.
Love Island Rewind.
A Love
Mm-hmm.
Island rewind. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, we're deep into season two. We're covering episodes 2 and 3. Um,
I'm very deep into it.
but we're enjoying it so far. It's cute so
Yeah.
far. It's very demure, very mindful, very everything of that nature. And these I will say these next 2 episodes we're gonna cover not too much happens, which is fine, but it
Yeah.
just made it seem like something was going to happen in episode 3, and then it didn't. It's going to be episode 4.
Yeah, editing is very deceitful, and if I was watching it in real time, I'd be irritated.
Yes. And
But mostly for episode 3, because it was just like, what is Trey gonna decide at the beginning? And then Trey is still deciding at the end. Like,
it's
come
kind of a
on.
cliffhanger. So I mean, I guess that's good to
Yeah.
end the podcast episode. Like, stay tuned, but also I'm sure you've watched this. Like, I know who wins, so I'm like, I know what's going to
Oh, you
happen.
do? I don't.
Oh, well, I won't say it that. I want you to be surprised.
I'll be surprised.
Yes, I know who wins, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But with that, let's jump into these episodes. When we left off
Hmm.
in the premiere, it was Carrington getting a text that a bombshell was there and he was gonna go on a date
Oh, yeah.
to the jacuzzi, and Jeremiah also got a text. that he was
Mm-hmm.
going to go on a date with a new bombshell. So, also this editing, they kind of like they show that at the end of the first episode, but then in this next episode, they start with it happening like what
Again.
happened before, and then they showed it just all again. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
They do that a couple times. Like before there's like a commercial break, they show something and then they show it again and then continue. And I'm like, this is 2020 and this must have been another time
Right. I'm
because
like, CBS trying to like extend all this. I'm like, y'all couldn't find any
basically,
other clip?
yeah.
Uh, but they were just saying, I think Caitlyn was talking to Johnny and was, or no, Caitlyn was just talking in general. And she was like, I knew Johnny was going to pick Sally because they had a convo beforehand. And she just seems very frustrated because she's not finding the connection she wants. I'm going to say Caitlyn seems like a fucking hater.
I didn't get that impression.
I did in so many instances. I'm like, I don't care for Caitlyn. She just gives me
Later
like, I don't know.
later on, it's kind of confusing with her. It's she's a little hard to read because I'm like, I can't tell if you're content because you're not talking to anybody or like trying,
It's
but
like
then
you seem fine, but then you don't.
right, exactly.
She's an interesting one. But Justine is freaking out that Jeremiah is gonna go on a date because they just
Hmm.
decided to try things out, which I get. It's like literally they just decided like, ooh, let's see where this goes. And then it's
And then
just
he
like,
gets a text.
you need to meet this new bombshell in this jacuzzi. I'd be
Yeah.
freaking out
And then
too.
he's like really excited. He's
He
like,
is.
yeah.
Him and
And I'm
Carrington are
like,
like freaking out.
no, Jeremiah is like, this is fun. I was just talking to her, but like, I'm down to go see. I mean, I get it. He's right to be excited. And then Carrington is like, yes, I've been feeling very unappreciated, by
I was like, okay,
Caitlin.
Carrington.
Yeah.
He's funny. Um, but and this is where Caitlin says she was excited for Carrington, but nervous for herself. And then we kind of get briefly introduced to the new bombshells.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rachel, who's 21 from Minnesota, and she knows what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what that is. We come to find out maybe it's Jeremiah, but like in
Yes.
general, it's kind of like I feel like we don't learn that much about Rachel.
We don't. And it's interesting because the season we just watched, season 6, never introduced the bombshells. Like we just got their name and age. It wasn't like the little like montage, but we
Yeah.
get it for these guys. So I was like, oh, we kind of learned something, but really not much.
Right. Because even Kirsten, she's 23 from Austin, Texas. She's a bartender and she just got new boobs. And I'm not trying to be shady, but I was like, she looked older than 23 to me, but I think it was the
Oh my.
makeup. She had
No,
like,
she does look older. No, Brandon, she does. She does.
I was like, 23. And then no shade, she's pretty, but I'm like, 23?
Yeah. No, when I was watching this, I was multitasking. I was putting some dishes away. And I looked it up to see them, and I was like, "Oh, there they are." And then later, I saw her again, and I was like, "She looks older. She looks like I don't know. She's got a very serious face. No, is it just
She
me?
she does. I think
Got an
it
RBF.
she does kind of. I think, but she seemed nice, like the more we got to know her, but she does kind of, I think it was a lot of the eye makeup. It was just very heavy, like
Something.
eyeliner.
There's
Because,
something going on in the face that just makes you look serious and older.
yeah, but sure, you're great, Kirsten. And, can't wait to get to know you because we didn't really get to know you in these two
No,
episodes.
we didn't. Other than
Um,
that, you have a boob job, which is like, I
no,
get. I mean,
pop off.
go off, Queen.
Go off, queen.
I just hate that that's her intro. It just makes her look shallow.
I know, right? I'm sure
Like
I
me and
feel
my
like
new friends are here
they
to
do that though
join.
with bombshells. I remember Kenny was talking about his and how stupid his sounded. And then when I watched it back, it really was like, these girls don't know what they're getting. I'm amazing. Like bombshells, they make sound like so like superficial and like what the
No, for
fuck.
real.
And
No,
it's
for real.
like, okay.
Production cannot get one over on us. I know she said 1,000 things and they
She
picked
did.
the one.
And they're just like, she just got her boobs done. Put that in real quick.
Put it in. Make sure you include it.
Uh and so
Um,
the dates start, it's pretty light. They're kind of just all flirting at first. But
Yeah.
then it goes to Trey and Justine chatting. And he was like, "Oh, I wrote you off at first, and you probably did the same. But, I'm like a reformed player. And maybe this is fate that I'm single and Jeremiah's going on a date."
Ugh.
And I'm
What
like,
what do you think of what he had to say?
I didn't like it. He's definitely, because he was trying to make it seem like he's a reformed player. I'm like, you're not reformed. Like, you're still a
Um,
player. I
if
don't
you have to
trust
say
him.
you're reformed, are you
Chances are
reformed?
you're not. And then also, because he randomly too just goes, can I ask you, did you and Jeremiah kiss? What does that matter if they
Oh, that's a good.
kissed?
That is. I didn't even. I was like, I thought he was just curious, but I mean, I don't know. Jeremiah, I like. Justine called him out because she was like, I don't know why he's trying so hard, and I was like, that was the
She's
vibe I was
aware.
getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's feeling a little vulnerable. I
Hmm.
think he's like, because at first people liked him. Now people aren't so much liking him. Two bombshells came in, they didn't pick him. I think he's feeling a little bit about like a ways about everything. And then for him to be like, I wrote you off at first. You probably wrote me off too. No, the fuck she didn't.
She did
Not
say, I
you
remember, I
projecting.
think she said about
Oh, she
him, his
did?
eyes are flirty. She like didn't
Yeah.
step forward for him. I don't know if she like wrote him off. Like that might be a
Right. So that made
little
me feel like, because you know how people are like, sometimes they say something and then they're like, you probably felt that way too. And then they keep going and it's like almost like a self-justification.
right.
Like,
It's like
I
I didn't, but okay.
right, not you putting words in. Why don't you ask me if I wrote you off instead of assuming that I did? So I didn't like what he did, but we see, I don't know, we see more of Trey. This interaction of later, my later impression of Trey after these two, I'm like, okay, I feel differently. But here I was just like, Trey, you're being a little weird. And then he was like, I think he was trying to ask her for a kiss, and that's why he asked about her kissing Jeremiah. But Justine don't play that. She like takes her
She
time with
doesn't.
things.
She does, which she's a real one. I
Yeah.
think too, I'm just like, but Trey, you kissed like everybody. So like, why are
Yeah.
you asking? I mean, I guess, but I'm like, I don't know. But he does kiss her cheeks and forehead, and I'm like, that was kind of weird.
That was here? I thought he did that later.
He did it again later. He does it multiple
Oh, okay.
times. It's kind of
Okay,
like,
okay.
okay.
And I mean,
Which
that is cute. I'm glad he's respectful of her boundaries and isn't like, oh, she doesn't want to kiss me, so I'm gonna leave.
yeah,
You know?
that's true. Um, Johnny and
But the whole
Kate,
fate thing is a stretch.
it is. It's a little like,
Sorry.
okay, calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
mean,
go ahead.
maybe, but Johnny and Caitlin chat, and he's like, "Oh, I want to maintain a good relationship." And this is where I'm like, she seems bothered, but and he's like, he's trying to tell her like, I didn't know that I was gonna pick Sally, but she's like, everyone was saying you were gonna pick Sally, so like, why are you saying that?
But it's weird because if you rewind at the beginning, the girls were like, I had no idea. And Caitlyn was like, I knew he was gonna pick her. So
Yeah.
now she's flipping it on him saying everybody knew, but really it was just you, sis. It was just you, Caitlyn.
Right. And it was just like, it's confusing too, because like, this is why I didn't like, because he's like, oh, I liked Sally because she's like really giggly. And she's like, yeah, she laughs a lot. That's great. I'm like, bitch, do not come for Sally. I love Sally. My love for Sally knows no bounds. I think she's the funnest, cutest ever. I
Oh
want,
no, she's
I want to
amazing.
put her in my
Sally is
pocket and bring her everywhere.
right. I wanted to be her friend. Like she's so happy and like just good energy. Yeah, I was like, I think she's salty and she's not saying it. She's like, I want everyone here to find their match. But then it was like, I don't actually think that's how you really feel. I think she rightfully so is in her feelings a little bit about not being picked by Johnny because she likes Johnny more than Carrington and she told Carrington she doesn't like him. So now she's basically single.
Yes, and she's kind of in a dilemma because it's like, remember the first episode, so many guys were like yearning for her.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, okay, one of them picks someone else. The other one's single and vulnerable, but it's talking to Justine.
Right.
Carrington's on a date. You're kind of like, you didn't want these people. And like, my thing is like, you didn't need to want these people. It seemed like you're still waiting for your person, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
But I think ideally she wanted to end up with Johnny.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think she really did want Johnny and
But she
didn't. And
laughs a
then
lot. That's great.
and then like even Trey, I don't see her talk to Trey at all here either. Like you could have kept trying with Trey, but she didn't.
No, and even
She
their
like pulled back.
talks are like, from what we see, I'm like, they talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Oh no. But we kind of go back to the dates, and Carrington's telling Kirsten like, "Oh, you're such a blessing because I'm not vibing with Caitlin." And this is just the start of I feel like Carrington being low-key kind of like clingy and a little odd.
Oh.
He's just like, which she says later on she'll say she likes being touchy, but he's just very like, oh my gosh, this is great. Like I love that you're here. Like it's amazing and like all this and like don't we look so hot together and like this is great. Like I think this is just so amazing. And like she's
We're
like at the
exotic.
sink and yeah, and I'm just like, okay, but you don't know her. Like shut up. Like what are we doing? Like I get it, you're into her, but I'm just like Carrington's kind of like a lost puppy.
No, for real. No, Brandon, I'm telling you, I really like to
You did.
understand why people act the way they act. And last episode, or last time we chatted, I told you, I think Carrington had this upbringing where he wasn't always picked first, blah, blah, blah. So when someone picks him, it's more reassuring than you know. It's like he's love bombing himself.
Yeah.
Basically, like I've been accepted, she wants me, and we're great together. And I mean, it makes sense though, because that's what you're here to do. I can only I think he's just very insecure. Like he this whole experience of having to pick somebody, be with somebody is a lot, and you could be vulnerable at any time. So he's just like really loving that he's with homegirl, and probably in his head, this relationship means more than it would on the outside when it's not a competition show for love.
Yeah. Is he's an interesting one. I'm excited to
Yeah.
learn more about him, and I wonder if him and Kirsten will last.
Me too, because she's later on we see her and she seems a little, we'll get there, but she seems a little off to me.
A little. They're again, they all kind of do. We talked about this last
We did.
episode. I'm like,
Everybody's got something. I feel
oh,
like you know what? It'd be fun to like low key get the backstory for everybody. Like I
it
have my
would.
theory about Carrington's backstory, why he acts like that. I want to find it for everybody, you know?
Carrington, come on the pod. Can we
Come
pick
on
your
the
brain?
pod. Can we pick your brain and see how you were?
That would be
That would
fun,
be
actually.
really fun.
Rachel was talking to Jeremiah and was just like, "Oh, I picked you because you're the most attractive," and he's like, "I vibe well with Justine, but just as a friend." I did kind of like Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel's cute.
We didn't learn much, as we said, but like from what we did, I'm like, she seems sweet and she's cute.
Yeah, and she really likes Jeremiah. They kind of hit it off right away. He was like, "Oh, you like me? Okay." Yeah, he
Like,
was feeling
all
himself a
right.
little bit. All right. And then like
I'm not
she's
on the
very
back burner
forward.
anymore.
Mm-mm. They got me on the back burner a little bit. We see how country he is though. When he talks, I can't not hear it anymore. Like the little twang, like, all right now.
I
Like
know,
he's got a
right?
little bit of thing there.
He's
He said
funny.
something later, and I cannot wait to mimic him.
They all leave their dates to join everyone, and I'd like to point out Sally was the first one to stand up and be complimentary towards the other girls because
Oh,
Sally is amazing.
yeah.
Um, Kirsten reveals that Jeremiah was actually her second choice. Had she not like picked
Oh.
Carrington, she would have picked
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
But she also liked Connor, who's with Mackenzie. But before that, even they like sit down and Mackenzie's just like, just so you know, like I'm with Connor, so we're off limits, and then Moira and James are together, so they're off limits. Like, and she tries to say she's joking. I don't think she was joking.
I don't think she was joking at all. It was weird. They were having like this big group talk. Mackenzie basically takes over the talk. He's like, this is how it is in the villa. Okay. This is my man over here, the one next to me. Yes. Those two are together. But talk to everybody, get to know everybody. What are your types? And then the girls say their types. And Johnny said something like Mackenzie, like, is your type Connor? Or like was joking.
It was like
Somebody said
she
something.
said because they'd say that, and then Mackenzie goes, "But feel free to talk to everyone." And then
Yeah.
Johnny simply just goes, even Connor? And then Mackenzie's like, what the guy? Can anyone take a joke? Like, are you kidding me right
She's
now?
like, I'm gonna get up and go because it was just like nobody, like every, like, why did Johnny even say that? And so
Why would
she
he
gets up
say
and
that?
leaves, and I was like, is she mad? I was like, is the conversation over or are you upset? I thought at
Yeah.
first, because it went to commercial, I thought it, or like there was like a break, and I thought at first that she like was just like leaving, but she was actually
She
mad.
cries to Justine. She's like, I just can't believe Johnny would say that. Like, it was like a joke. Like, can nobody get my jokes? And I'm like,
Girl, you were not.
why are you
Even the moderator was like, what's her name? Is this
who?
Moira?
Oh,
Oh,
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. I thought you were talking about
The
the
moderator's
moderator.
like, Mackenzie is upset because no one can take a joke when she wasn't joking or something like that. Like he just said something like
Yeah.
petty.
And he's like, she was like, Connor's just trying to make me look like a jealous girl. And like, or no, Johnny's trying to make me look like I'm being just a jealous girl. And why is Connor not following me? And I'm like, girl, I
Girl, I
hate.
don't know if Connor knew you were upset. One. But
Right?
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I guess he should have came, but like he doesn't know you yet, sis.
it's like day two. Like,
Yeah. But Justine was giving me Liv vibes because she was like, I didn't want you to cry like there. She I think she could sense she was upset. So if Justine can sense that Mackenzie's upset, then yeah, Connor, you're slipping here.
yeah, but Justine also seems to have like an emotional maturity that a lot of these people don't have.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and Connor seems a little simple.
He looked, he was just like, she got up. They showed him, he just sat back, had his leg up. I don't think he knew what was
He was like,
happening.
bye.
I don't think he knew what was I think he was in his own little world. Like I don't think he wasn't engaged in
He,
conversation with anybody. He probably wasn't listening. He probably zoned out a little bit. He's probably like, we're in a different time zone. I'm kind of tired. It's getting late.
right. He's
And
like, I'm
I'm
trying to
here
go to
having a
bed.
group chat with everybody.
We're
But
all
she was really
sweating
upset.
in this Vegas heat. And there's other
Right.
buildings. We're hearing car horns and this villa.
Yeah.
Uh, but Connor didn't follow her. Johnny and Sally talk, and he's like, I don't care about the new girls. He just wants to talk to her. And Johnny and Sally are so cute.
They are, but here I did see she did something and I was like, I don't know why. So he's very focused. I love it. Johnny is like, this is my wife, basically. I'm gonna marry Sally. Like he's like, I'm committed to you. I don't care about the bombshells. But then they kissed and she wiped her face.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, like a hard wipe. It
Oh,
wasn't
maybe he was sweaty.
the moderator said like, oh, it was like too sloppy or something. And I'm just like, okay, then
Ooh.
maybe they need to figure that out. But they are very cute. They're super cute.
It makes me sad because I don't think it's a spoiler. Remember Sally said on After Sun how Casa Amor was hard for her?
She did. Oh, no. Brandon, now you reminded me of stuff to remember.
That's that's not you remembering things.
You're
Um
reminding me of memories.
But that's why I'm like watching them and I'm like, wow, they're so sweet. Fuck you, Johnny.
Yeah, no, for real. Like it's like all this build up to be let down
Like,
again.
right.
Why are we even watching Love Island again?
Why are we doing this to
Why are we
ourselves?
doing this to ourselves?
Uh, but Connor and Mackenzie chat, and she's like, just why wouldn't you like follow me? Like, why wouldn't you?
I feel bad for him, but like, okay, it's like production wanted us to know they fought, but only for a little bit because they sit down and he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And so I was like, did someone warn you, or have you guys been talking for a while now and you're finally sitting down? It seemed I was like, how did we get here to them sitting down? You know what I mean?
He probably sensed she was upset, maybe because she was gone and didn't come back.
She was like, I was gone for 15 to 20 minutes. He was like, oh, so it goes. He's like, she's like, I'm upset. Or he said, I'm sorry I didn't follow you. And she's like, I mean, I get it. Like, he was like, I don't, I'm like, I'm still getting to know you. And she's like, I get it, but I was gone for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes, Connor, that's a long
It
time.
is, but then didn't he tell us he's like, I'm trying to figure out why she has these expectations.
Mhm. Which almost made me feel like, so are you trying to tell her like she shouldn't?
Right? But then he does this spin where he's like, "You know what? This is good because we're learning about each other and this ultimately is what makes us stronger." And she's like, "Do
Yeah.
you really
And
think that?" And he's like, "Yes."
Mackenzie's Mackenzie is so funny. Oh my gosh. Because at the
She
end, she's like smiling. And I was like, I had to rewind. I was like, is this girl smiling after crying?
she
So it
was.
makes me think they were having a longer conversation. There was no way it was just a minute. I
Yeah,
think they spoke
no.
for a while. And they calmed each other down and whatever. But
Yeah.
there was no like, I didn't see Connor. He said sorry, but it wasn't like an acknowledgement like I should defend you or I when people are, you know what I mean? There was no
Yeah.
like resolution in that way. He was just like, I want to know why she gets upset.
Yeah. Why is she acting like this? Why is she
Yeah,
expecting me to follow her when we've known each other for a day?
right. And then it's like she got up and walked away, which kind of like implies space.
Yeah.
But then, but then
Because she even said she was like, I get like maybe him not coming right away, but I was gone for 20 minutes.
yeah, that
And
part
I'm
is
like,
crazy. She
the thing is, I do understand. I actually understand why she got upset for him not following, but there's something about the way she articulates herself that I do not like. That I'm just like, you would actually be horrible to like engage with.
Right. Well, okay, remind me because I can't remember. Is Mackenzie the one that was like, I've dated millionaires?
Yes.
So now we know why she acts like she acts and we can move on because
That says
I think
everything.
she's I think she's used to men just catering to her needs and not
Yeah.
having to say, come do this, you know? But she's
Right.
getting they resolved it, so it's fine. Oh, hold on. Connor kept telling Mackenzie to breathe, and I was like, not you mansplaining how to breathe. If
Oh
you
yeah, he
don't,
did.
that would have pissed me off.
He
I
was
was
like,
like, if you
relax. And
don't,
she was like, stop telling me to relax.
it's a valid point. Like,
It is.
she wasn't that worked up. I
Well,
mean, she was worked up, but not to the point where you need to tell me to breathe.
yeah.
Like, I'm upset, but it's like hush, hush now, because like
Shut up, Mackenzie.
basically. Um,
Um, it's the next day, and
no, well, before bed,
oh,
Kirsten and I think Justine are talking, and Kirsten didn't remember Carrington's name.
oh yeah, she didn't.
Yeah, she was like, I keep getting him mixed up with blah blah blah, or it was someone else's name maybe. But I was like, it's a bad sign if you don't remember Carrington's name.
I know it's a very different name, and also
Very
like
different.
you went on a date with him, you should remember his name. That's kind of funny though.
Right. Kirsten has been does stuff and it makes me be like, it has me, my eyebrows raised, like, huh? But yes, then the next day,
Um, Caitlin lets Kirsten know it's totally okay if she pursues things with Carrington.
girl, nobody needs your permission.
Great. Thanks for inserting yourself, Kirsten. Or Caitlin. Oh my God, so many K names. Um,
Yeah.
but Rachel's really excited to get to know Jeremiah. But there is this moment where some people are talking and James and Kirsten flirt a little bit, and they're like doing this in front of Moira.
Yeah, I was like, are they flirting or just talking? But he was very like she came over, he was like, "Hey, yeah, yeah, whatever." Like was
Yeah, totally.
very
Are you from
engaged with
this? Are you
her.
from Texas?
Yeah, he was very engaged with her right away and I was like, not James jumping
He
away.
was. He was
He like
very,
eager.
yes, which he likes to say, because he has like such a personality, whereas Moira doesn't. And I'm like,
Yeah.
or maybe you're just annoying. And like, I don't trust James.
Right.
But she does pull him for a chat and like she likes his personality, but this stresses Moira out. She's like, oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh, Moira looks so worried. It's tough. I kind of feel bad for her because it's like you already have a hard time opening up to people, and then you open up to somebody and you like felt really comfortable with them, and then they want to like talk to somebody else. But James was kind of communicating to Kirsten that he like likes a girl that's like a little more forward, has a little more
Hmm.
person, not so shy, basically.
Yeah.
So not
Not
Moira.
Moira at all. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So it's
Uh,
like, do you not like her?
and then yeah, he's like, I just love to compliment people and you're just so pretty. I'm like, okay, James,
He
calm
was
down.
very excited to talk to this girl.
He was doing a bit much, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really go anywhere, at least not yet. But like, who's to
Yeah.
say in the future? But Justine does get a text, and this is where it's gonna be the first challenge, excess
Mm-hmm.
baggage. And quite honestly, a little underwhelming. And did we really learn anything that important?
No.
It was, I was like, it's literally like boys versus girls. Luggage comes down the carousel. Each one contains a dirty secret about someone from the Islanders' past, like on the other team. And essentially, the girl or the guy has to guess who, and they have to kiss who they think it is. And then if you
Mm-hmm.
get it right, you get a point. If you don't, you don't.
What did you
Um,
think about the game as a whole?
I thought it was stupid. I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah. And then I was like, the luggage coming down, it just looked a little
It
rough
looked a
around the
little,
edges.
it looked very COVID and it looked very budget and it looked very just like clunky and
Yes.
I mean, it made me appreciate the 18 steps that are in the Peacock season 6 where it was like unnecessary but kind of fun.
Yeah, because it gives you more to watch, basically.
Yeah, this it was kind of like okay, and they were all sweating like crazy because they have them in these like
Bro,
button downs in like the Vegas heat. I'm like, this is bad.
they're on the roof of this building, man. Like you're closer to the sun. Oh my gosh. I was like, I would hate to be in this villa, this hotel
No,
villa.
it looks horrid.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I mean, I only wrote down like that we learned that Carrington slept with someone more than twice his age, and that
Yeah.
Trey slept with a friend's girlfriend to see if he could.
That's bad.
And I'm like, if that's not indicative of Trey,
Hmm.
I don't know what is.
Justine is listening.
Yes.
Um,
And then what was it? There was one Moira used the bathroom on the side of the road on the way to the club. And I'm only bringing
because
that
the
up because it
club
gets
bathroom
brought up
was
again.
right. The club bathroom was too full. I mean, honestly, all of them were bad, Brandon.
They were.
Um,
It was nothing because usually you learn
Jeremiah,
something that like pushes the storyline.
yeah. I mean, there's not a story yet, so the like all of the facts are
That's
just
true.
random. Jeremiah ran out of someone's house and was chased by dogs. Johnny made out with someone next to her boyfriend, which is savage work.
Oh
Savage
yeah.
work, Johnny. Um, James had a threesome with two married women. And then Connor lost his virginity during a one night stand.
Oh yeah.
And then Mackenzie said that turned her on. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah.
They talk more, they'll talk more about it later, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing
So,
groundbreaking.
right. Sally flipped a coin to see who she was leaving with at a club, I guess, or out somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Um, this one made no sense. Kirsten went I don't understand what Kirsten did. I just said fake wedding for groom to give her a bracelet. Did you understand that one?
Oh yeah, it was like they fake I guess she like faked a wedding with someone and she did it for a bracelet. Like I guess
When
I don't know why they faked the wedding. That part was
yeah, it was
unclear.
confusing. And then Rachel said she has many talents, but one of them is sex. And Jeremiah was like, wow. And I'm like, Jeremiah.
Get the fuck out of
Okay.
here.
And Caitlin's an FBI agent. That's all we learned. I don't think we learned anything about Justine.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. And
It was
then some people were being shady about who they decided to make out with. Jeremiah kissed, wait,
Jeremiah
Justine,
kissed
Rachel.
Jeremiah
Rachel
kissed
kissed
Rachel,
Jeremiah.
but Justine and Rachel kissed Jeremiah. They essentially
Yeah,
just kept just kissing who they were interested in and not really who they thought the answer was.
right, right.
Because Mackenzie
Nobody
tried to
and
have a moment where she like was gonna kiss Johnny, but then was just like, just kidding, and kiss Connor. And it was just they were like, oh my God, the psych out. And I'm like, okay.
yeah, and then Carrington kissed Kirsten, but she like pushed him away. Did you notice that?
I did. I'm like, do
I
people
was
not
like,
like kissing Carrington?
right. And then like and but then he looked happy afterwards. Like he didn't look upset.
Yeah.
I don't know. Stuff is happening and nobody's acknowledging it. It's not
It's
making sense to
odd
me.
vibes. Odd vibes.
Very odd vibes.
But apparently after the challenge, Kirsten and Carrington are saying they're feeling each other more.
Yes.
So I guess she must have kind of liked the kiss.
Yeah, he's like, I
Um,
want you, and she's like, I feel the same.
yeah. Mackenzie and Connor are doing this weird thing where they're like, we're saving our first real kiss because the only kisses have been in challenges. And I'm like, no, y'all have had real kisses. They haven't been imaginary. The circumstances may have been whatever, but like y'all have kissed. This isn't like a milestone.
Yeah, I think she wants it to be special, maybe, and that's
I
why she's
guess.
like,
But like it's
she's funny.
not. It's not special. You're not special. He's not
Mackenzie
special. This
is
isn't
so
special.
funny to me.
She is, there's one point where she has like this curly ass hair. Maybe it's the next episode, but it
Oh
looked
yeah, she like crimps it or something. I don't know.
insane. I was like, Mackenzie.
The moderator said she had a perm.
I was like low key. Um, the girls were
Mackenzie makes herself an easy target.
she does, and I think I know her fate in this show.
Mm,
And we'll see if it's
don't
true.
tell.
I won't tell. But
Okay.
the girls were surprised by Rachel and how she made out with Jeremiah. I don't know
Yeah.
what, maybe because she seems soft spoken, so they didn't
Somebody I
expect
rem
that.
Oh,
Maybe.
that makes sense. It's the quieter ones that you always think are just they act quiet, they sleep quiet, they behave quiet. Nah. During the game, they were kissing, and Justine was like, "Oh, you're still going." Like they made out for a while.
And then Justine's like, I'm gonna kiss him. But then poor Justine, because now Jeremiah
Yeah.
wants to talk to her so that he could say he wants to pursue Rachel.
Yeah, the boys were talking about the game, and Johnny was like, "You need to talk too." Johnny's like giving dad energy. He's like, "I'm in a good spot with Sally, but you need like,
But this is what
and you
you
need
need
to
to
do
do.
this, and you need to do that." And they're like, "You need to talk to Justine." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like it's just a friendship."
Ah, poor Justine. But you know what?
Did you notice in the next scene, Moira's talking to James, right? Or
Yes.
Connor? Yeah, no, it's not Moira, it's Mackenzie.
Oh yeah, Mackenzie and
Mackenzie and
Connor.
Connor. I wrote
Yeah.
Moira. I'm remembering now. They're like getting ready for bed,
Yeah, it went to night really quickly. This was weird.
but then it went back to evening because then they were out. Like they were in. Usually they don't touch the bed until they're going to sleep.
Yeah, but sometimes they will. It
Oh,
depends though.
I
But
thought he was in pajamas.
he might have been. It could have been just weird editing, just like
Yeah.
show, because they're talking about like how he lost his virginity to a one night stand, and he says, "I've only slept with three people because it's a powerful way of expressing your love." And
What?
three, but
Three?
she
What?
says she has butterflies.
Yeah, I mean, she's not. Mackenzie is not someone I would tell bad news to because they would just, or like serious news to because they would just make it worse. Like her
They
saying
would.
what and looking so confused. Like you made this man explain twice how he's only slept with three people. I mean, I get it. She's like surprised, but it's just the delivery seems a little insensitive to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, she's definitely someone that doesn't have like a filter or just
None.
like,
No filter.
yeah, she will just make it worse. It's like, remember in Atlanta, Real Housewives of Atlanta, when Kenya was like, my dog
Cynthia.
Velvet died. And Cynthia goes, "Who?" And she's like, Cynthia.
She did it twice. She's like, guys, I have bad news. And Cynthia's like, Velvet died. And it's like, girl.
You are making this worse.
She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just so emotional because Velvet. It's
I'm like,
like,
oh,
girl, can
Cynthia,
you leave?
can you go? I love Cynthia though.
Me too.
Um, but Justine and Jeremiah do chat, and he basically is just like, oh, I just see us as friends.
Mhm.
And she's like, all right. And then Justine
Can I
tells Seth,
recreate this? Oh,
oh
sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
oh no,
What were you gonna say?
do recreation.
What did you say next?
Oh, and I was just gonna say how Justine tells Sally what happened.
Oh, okay, okay. Nah, this is how the conversation goes with Jeremiah. Jeremiah's like, I just wanted to pull you for a chat. You feel me? Like, I just wanted to see how you were feeling. You feel me? And I just want to let you know, you feel me? Like we've been vibing. You feel me? And then, you know, Rachel came in. You feel me? And she's looking really nice. You feel me? So I just want to let you know that I think that we should just be friends. You feel me? Said you feel me like 100 times, and I'm like, Jeremiah, please. Like, I know you're nervous. I get it, but I just have to be make fun of you because what? Like,
Yeah,
you
he
feel
does.
me?
You feel me? Jeremiah, he does say that a lot. He was
He
nervous.
does.
He did
He
want to hurt
was.
Justine, but he's funny.
I'm glad he said something, but it just like you could tell from his delivery, he was very nervous.
He was, which I get, you never want to break someone's heart, even though I don't think her heart's broken, but like, he's
Right.
rejecting her. You feel me?
It's almost like the level of care can be condescending in a way. Does that make sense?
It can like coddling, like
Yes.
just like, like the thing is like I do want to be with someone else, but like you're great. And like, you feel
Yeah.
me? And it's like,
It makes it a little worse. Like you just be like, I don't know. At least that's to me. I don't know if Justine felt that way, but like you can overdo being sympathetic
this
and
is true.
compassionate.
This is true. And, Justine tells Sally what happened. And she's like, she does appreciate his honesty, but she does mention she wishes he would have told her the night before. And she later says, I think it's because at the excess baggage game, like she wouldn't have kissed him.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, maybe he just wasn't sure. But then he was. But I don't
Yeah, he
know. I
was.
get it.
I think it was like sparks with Rachel right away, and he could have just told Justine because I think also in Justine's brain it's like now I'm kind of embarrassing myself more with you. Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm participating in this game and kissing you when it's clear that you two have a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean he didn't wait a week. He did tell her. She's like, I can't fault him for the timing, but like I do wish he told it earlier, which is valid.
It is, but Sally does try to assure her, your guy's coming and maybe you should pursue Trey and like give it a
Yeah.
chance because there's something there. And I'm
Yeah, but
like,
she's skeptical of
you
Trey. She's
shouldn't.
not sure about
But
it. Yeah.
I
I
get
was
it
like,
for
girl, I
show
think
purposes, but not for real.
right, like, make sure you don't miss the recoupling, but after that, let's
After
keep our
that,
options open.
let's be open to anyone else. Um,
Yeah.
and then Justine and Trey do chat, and she says the thing about wishing Jeremiah told her last night because she wouldn't have kissed him and the challenge, but she says she's going to keep putting herself out there. And he's like, I connect best with you personality wise. And if they were to do a recoupling tonight, he would pick her. And they
She's like,
hug.
"Oh, Trey."
It was actually kind of cute. I was
It
like,
was very
okay,
cute.
I'm not too mad at this.
Yeah. And he was like, Sally is kind of just someone you hook up with, but like, which is really
Caitlin.
fucked up to say. Oh, Caitlin.
He did say
Man,
that.
I'm bad with names, but now it's
She'll get
coming.
him
Now
eventually.
I'll get it. Give me another week or two. But Justine is someone who you can like be in a relationship with. And like she's still cautious. I thought that maybe they'd make out or something. They didn't. She's still like, has her boundaries. She still takes it slow. And it kind of reminds me of Serena and Cordell a little bit. Like, I feel like Trey is like half Cordell, half like Hakeem, or half Cordell, half like Coy. You know?
Okay.
His better judgment, he's Cordell, but like his default is to kind of be like a player, like kind of like, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying
Play
to
the
think.
field.
Play the field. Yeah. Because He's like a player that cares.
Yeah, he has a heart, he's sympathetic, but I think he's like when he sees someone paying attention to him, he sparks up. I
He
mean,
does.
kind of like Cordell. You know, when he sees someone paying
And
attention to him, it's
Casa
hard not
Amor.
to.
I wonder
No,
if
for
Trey
real.
makes it to Casa Amor. That'd be interesting to see him there.
Yeah,
I feel like he's gonna have a time. Do his big one.
right. Right.
But yeah, he says that about Justine and Caitlyn, and then the episode ends, and this is where we think, oh my gosh, there's a recoupling next episode, because that's how the preview made it seem.
Hmm.
Um, Spoiler alert, as we said, there's not.
No recoupling.
No recoupling. But the episode 3 does start off with them playing Truth or Dare.
Ugh.
These games are kind of like nonsensical. I don't know, I just
And
feel like
this one, oh,
it's
go ahead. You
just
feel like what?
like it's season 6, the games had a purpose.
Yeah, I think this is a game they wanted to play to pass the time
Yeah, which I
because it was
get.
very unorganized. It was like you kiss this person who you're already
Right.
paired with.
Yeah,
Oh
like
wow.
crazy. Because they like
Wild.
Jeremiah has to lick Rachel, Justine kisses Trey on the cheek.
And then
Yeah.
they told Caitlyn to kiss Trey for 5 seconds. And I was like, this is a specific, more intimate one. You gave Justine a weak one.
Yeah. And Connor dares her to do that. Or like dares Trey to kiss her, but like because Caitlyn does a truth, and hers is she says she would couple up with Trey. So they're setting
Mm.
up the Justine versus Caitlyn
Mm-hmm.
phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
which does not come to a resolution as we said this episode, but should next episode. Um, but yeah. And then Trey does pull Caitlyn for a chat, and she tells him that she would couple up with him because he's sweet and kind and makes her feel comfortable. And then he says he would like to kiss her more. So it's very much this like, and we'll see throughout the episode, it feels like they're setting up like the Justine, it's more of like an emotional connection, and with Caitlyn, it's more physical,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which, and I don't like certain things they say, but we'll get to it.
I don't either. But like off rip, Trey is just surprised that Caitlyn feels like that. And I am too, because you
Same.
spent 2 days like talking to nobody basically. And now all of a sudden they ask you and you're like, well, I like Trey. And it's like, do you? You know? It was
Yeah.
news to him. Um and then he was I think he like tries to initiate more intimacy, like even with Justine. He's like, oh well, like, I wouldn't like sometimes will hint like at wanting to kiss them, but the girls don't take him up on it. Like he told her, I thought you were expecting more on the kiss, and she's like, yeah, but we'll see, maybe another time. And it's like, so you don't want to kiss him, even
Remember
though
the first episode where she's like, I kissed Carrington and it was nice, but I don't want to commit to doing it again.
yeah, it's
And
like
it's like,
that.
okay.
Yeah, like when they were kissing it, he was like, it seemed like you didn't want to stop. And he's like, yeah, but maybe one day we'll resume.
It's like,
Like,
okay, AI Caitlyn, I can't with her.
no, for real.
Um, but then Justine and Trey chat, and he says he's
Wait,
still
hold on, Brandon. Trey is so annoying because he goes to Caitlyn and he's like, yeah, it's crazy during the game that we just played. Connor asked you a truth, like who would you couple up with, and you said me. He's like explaining it to her like she wasn't there, right?
yeah, he's like, it's
Then he goes
insane what just happened on this television show. Like, must I
and he
recap
like
it?
he like recaps it, and then he goes to Justine and is like, I don't know if you saw, but during the game that just happened,
It's
Connor
like, yeah,
asked
we were
just
there.
Connor asked Caitlyn who would she want to be with, and she said me, and then we kissed for 5 seconds. And it's like, Trey, what the fuck? Why are you repeating? Why are you repeating
He's
it?
so
Why are you
annoying.
narrating it?
He really
Justine was
is.
there, and Caitlyn was also like, when he did it with Caitlyn, I was like, okay, maybe he's referring. He walked Justine through the whole thing. I was like, this is annoying, Trey. And Justine is just patiently listening to him, like, yeah,
It's just like,
I
yeah,
was there.
totally. I had no idea any of this happened. But he does say he still vibes with her more naturally than Caitlyn, which I can get because talking to Caitlyn is again like talking to a robot. And he
Yeah.
feels more comfortable opening up to Justine. But she
And
tells
she
him,
likes
"You seem
hearing
like a
that.
heartbreaker." And
Yeah. And
it's
he's
like,
like, I do. And she's like, yeah.
as you just came from Caitlyn to tell her how you want to kiss her, now you're telling me that you like me more.
Yeah. And then does he kiss her on the forehead or something?
Does he? I know he does at one point this episode. And she's
Oh,
like, "I
okay.
love forehead kisses," or
Yeah.
something. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, maybe it was now. But he's not beating the player allegations.
Nope.
But Jeremiah and Rachel chat, and they want to jump into things. She's like, if I had 10 eggs, eight would be in your basket.
Yeah, they just yes and each other to death. He's like, 8 eggs? Wow. Yeah, I really like you. Yeah, I like you too. Yeah, I want to get to know you more. Yeah, me too. It's like,
It's
okay.
basically, yes, and it's like that. Like, I feel like we saw the same conversation with them, with Carrington and Kirsten, and then with James and Moira. It's just like, I really am so glad you're here. And it's just like, I'm glad we're getting to know each other and I want to keep getting to know you. Like, rinse, repeat. And it's like,
No, for
okay,
real.
cool. But then this is where James said the whole, like, I liked hearing that story about you going to the bathroom because I've done that before. And I'm like, wow, that's like cool. Like, we can bond. I'm like, I gotta go. Uh,
She said, I like that he had my back. And I was like, had your back? You needed defending for something? Were they making
right,
fun of you? Maybe there was something we didn't see. But she's like, I have butterflies and I really like us together. And he's like, I like us together too. And I'm like, do you, James? Because you seemed really excited to talk to Kirsten.
right. And then when Carrington and Kirsten talked, Carrington was trying to like drink the drink with his bicep. Like he was like, oh, let me like
Yeah.
do this. And I'm trying to do this with my brewmate. And he was like,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
like,
like, what are they
get the fuck
doing?
out of here, Carrington. I can't with you.
It was funny. I was listening to this out loud and Obi passed by because Carrington and Kirsten talk. And then he was like, I was miserable before they kiss. And all you hear is there's the smacking. And Obi's like, can they increase the audio any louder?
I know, right?
It's so loud.
uh, and they're getting to bed, and most of the couples are like making out, but then it like cuts to Carrington because he has to share the bed with Caitlyn, and he's like fully clothed, uncovered, like just
Yeah.
staring up at the wall. And I was like, this is funny.
It is. When they were getting ready for the bed, all the girls were like, Moira. And it's like, it's so funny because I know, like, they say Moira's shy, and it doesn't seem like she really wants to be having this conversation. They're like, are you gonna let him hit second base? Are you, oh, I love it when you like, like lay down, but then you like scoot up next to them. And then, and then Sally was like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how big Johnny's dick
Oh my
is.
gosh.
And they're just having their chat, and Moira's like, oh,
Oh
like
my gosh.
she's flabbergasted. She's like, oh no, no, no. But they seem to get a little more intimate that day too.
They do. They're like getting closer and closer, and they'll talk about it at some point. But
Hmm.
it's the next day, and the song they were playing in the beginning was "I Came Here for Love." Did you
Yeah,
notice? I was like,
and I did.
yeah,
I was like, so is this their theme song? I don't remember them playing it the first episode.
they
It
didn't.
was
Maybe it's their unofficial. The song's low-key old. It's like from 2017 or something.
That's so funny.
And so I guess
There
maybe they
was no,
adopted it as their theme song.
yeah, there was no dance number
There, what?
with
Where's the dance
choreography.
number?
Where's the dance? She's not a dancer.
Where's the suitcase? She's not a dancer. Where's the
Where's the
suitcase?
suitcase? Who got well, it was Koi that got left with a broken down taxi in the desert.
He did. It was so stupid. I can't with that. I would need to rewatch that.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
but Kirsten and Carrington continue to bond. He says he's warming up to her pretty fast. And she says she likes a lot of things about him and he's genuine.
Yeah.
Cool.
The in the morning, she was like, I like your arms. He like flexed for her. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
while
He's like,
he's
oh
eating
yeah,
his eggs.
yeah, thanks, totally. I was like, okay,
And
Carrington.
then
Um,
they're making breakfast. It's James and Carrington.
Oh yes.
And James is like, "Yeah, we got a little closer last night." And James is like, "Yeah, you did?" I mean, Carrington's like, "Really?" "Yeah." And he just seems like uninterested in whatever
He is,
James
but
is
what
having
about
to
me and
say.
Kirsten? Like, here's the thing about me
Anyway,
and Kirsten.
that has nothing to do with me and Kirsten.
Uh, but Johnny and Sally have another cute moment where they make up a handshake and they're like in the bed,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I like them.
me
And then
too. They're so cute. They practice.
they do, and
Their
I'm like,
handshake is so elaborate.
it
I was like,
is.
not you having like a little dirty dancing lift in like
The
choreography.
most extra handshake.
No, for real.
Uh,
Is the morning chat with Carrington and Kirsten where he tells her they look exotic?
Probably. And I probably
Did
just
you?
zone that part out. Because what?
He was like in the confessional. He was like, I really like how we look together. Like we have like an exotic look. I mean, like we're nothing crazy or anything. And then they talk, and he's like, it's really good to have you. And she's like, is it good to have me? Like, I don't know. Like, he says something and then she like wants him to say it again. Did you notice
No, but I believe you.
this? I think he said in vague terms, like, I'm glad I found someone. And she's like, are you glad you found someone or are you glad you found me? And he's like, no, I'm glad I found you. And then he's like, like, it's so nice to be with someone who's very like blah blah blah. And she's like, are you talking about someone or are you talking about me? I was just like getting
It's
in.
like, well,
I
he's
was like,
talking to you, Kirsten.
girl, right.
So,
So
yes,
they're weird.
they are. But Justine and Trey have a cute workout montage and do like
I
hip
thought it was
thrusts,
cute.
which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um, and then the guys are talking to Trey and they're like about his decision between Justine and Caitlin. They're like, I didn't like how Jeremiah instantly goes, are you more attracted to Caitlin? I was like, why? When am I gonna be mean by saying Justine's prettier? Like, would I'm like, I just don't. I feel like they're like making it like they're treating Justine like she's like this ugly duckling that has a great
Yeah.
personality, and we should give her a chance. I'm like, she is like the bombshell.
No,
Like,
she's so pretty.
what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it's all with it, it's always like Caitlyn, oh, her looks are great and physically, but with Justine, we just really vibe mentally. And I'm like, I would think it's a no-brainer because Justine, you vibe that way and she's pretty. So isn't
Yeah.
that the full package, kind of?
Right. I think it's hard, man. It's hard. I think the problem is with typical standards of beauty, Justine would not be like that in everybody's eyes. So, she's black and she has a darker skin tone. Like
Mm,
typically you're not seen as like the beautiful one, even though I think she's very beautiful.
yeah.
And that's
He's
nothing against Caitlyn. It's just like I think, and honestly, it kind of pisses me off when black men don't automatically choose a black woman who specifically a darker toned black woman. And now she's basically a second option to Trey. Well, third if
yeah.
we're being real, because he picked Sally first, didn't
Oh
look her
yeah.
way, then noticed her. Now and then now is noticing Caitlyn because Caitlyn said something. Like everybody is before Justine,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. You can have a type, I get it, but it's like obvious that he likes her and is still not choosing her?
Yeah. It's
She's a second
stupid.
option to him.
Mm. And then the girls chat about the guys, or no, wait, I skipped something. Justine and Caitlin chat.
Hmm.
And they say, Justine says, oh, she could see something with Trey. And Caitlin's like, yeah, I've had a lot of genuine conversations with him. And this is where they do a slow down version of the boy's mind. Just kidding. That'd be funny if they pulled a Serena and Day and just like, I think
Yeah.
it's time we got this straight. I'm like, over Trey.
No, no, no.
But then the girls do chat about the guys, and Caitlin again, hate her. She seems confused that Kirsten would want to be with Carrington because typically she says she likes her men more mature, and Carrington to me was very immature. So I
She's
don't
basically
quite
like
understand it.
I
I'm
think she's
like,
having buyer's remorse. She's
she
like, did I
is.
not choose? Because literally what we were talking about before, remember when a guy picks a girl that nobody really paid attention to, all of a sudden Caitlyn was on everybody's mind. I feel like
Hmm.
that's how she's feeling about Carrington. Like, wait, you like him? Oh, you have a good connection? He's very sweet and genuine. Wait,
Interesting.
I remember him not being those things.
Yes.
So, what did I do
This
wrong?
is just, this does not compute. This does not compute. This does not compute. Like, okay, Caitlin, got it.
And what did Kirsten say back?
I don't even remember because I think she said it. She might have said it to her, or did she say it to like us? But maybe I think she did say
Oh,
something. I think she was just like, "Oh yeah, I do like him." I don't think she said
yeah.
anything too like crazy or like anything. Like I don't think she took it the way it was because she's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know.
And
Kirsten's
I,
interesting.
I almost get the impression that Justine and Caitlin are friends. I think Justine is everyone's friend.
Yeah, it seems like Justine gets along with everyone, and
Yeah.
it's just
Okay.
like they're at least not enemies by any
Mm-hmm.
means.
Yeah.
But then this is like a random. James goes to the girls. It's like a scene to bring the girls and guys together, and James is like, "Well, we're gonna show you the haircuts Johnny gave people," and it honestly doesn't look that much different because it's been 3 days, and everyone has
They
the
really
same
need
hair.
haircuts.
I'm like, what are we doing? So then the guys just joined the girls, and it was just like
Yeah.
a lame scene to like get them all to like the producers was like, okay, the girls and guys have chatted. Now get back together. And it's like,
Right.
all right. This is where I really noticed Mackenzie's hair. I'm like, oof,
Y- Yeah, I wonder how she did it.
not well, bitch.
She must have spent hours on it. It doesn't look like okay, you know when you burn something so much it's stiff, it looked very stiff. Like it was wavy, but it was stiff.
Yeah, and it was just too much.
Yeah, she
Um,
must have spent a while on that, Brandon,
she
because she
was
has a
like,
lot
I'm
of
gonna be
hair.
different, Connor. Do you like this hair? You didn't even compliment it. It's been 20 minutes since I've had
Ugh.
it.
Is that her natural
Uh,
hair color? What color are her eyebrows? Brown?
Brown. And she
Yeah.
strikes me as she's probably blonde, but she
Oh
doesn't
yeah, a
do her
natural blonde?
face makeup. She makes herself very, look, I'm just gonna say it. She makes her face orange and it doesn't match her body. And
It
like
just looks like pasty a little bit.
it does. And that's something she can work on. You can fix makeup. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. Um,
Yeah.
but Sally is saying, oh, she's never had so much fun with a guy as she does with Johnny. Mackenzie says she feels the same about Connor. And this is also where I noted that Kirsten's like at the bathroom sink, and Carrington's just like all over her and just like looking in the mirror, just like we look so hot together. And then they like kiss, and I'm just like, he's just like constantly like touching her. She's like trying to get undone. I'm like, it was just like a lot. I was like, okay, y'all.
She says she likes it.
She did. So we'll see if she really does when bombshells
Right.
come. But
Right.
then they go to bed. It's the next day. This is where we see kind of the first rounds of people actually making their couple breakfast. Because Jeremiah
Mm.
makes Rachel breakfast, and of course, you guessed it, it's avocado toast and eggs. Um,
That's so weird because I feel like we saw them. I think I saw Mackenzie eating pancakes at one point. Like they had real food,
there's
but of course it
options.
reverts to avocado toast and eggs.
Yes. And I'm like, all right now. Um, and then Trey's kind of being weird with Justine in the morning. He seems to just have a lot on his mind. And like just
Trey's stressed out.
he's so stressed. And Justine's
Yeah.
like, I woke up confident and now he's acting weird and I'm not confident. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh,
I
Justine, you'll
feel
be all
that.
right.
Hmm.
But then James and Moira have this talk about like how fast they're moving. I think they're talking physically, and they keep saying something about having a big personality, but I think that's code word for he might have a big dick. And maybe they got really touchy-feely.
That adds up. That
Because it
adds
was
up for
odd
sure.
how they were saying it. I was like,
Yeah.
this seems like code.
Okay. Okay, James, congrats.
Good for you, James.
This is great.
But they're talking about like how fast they're moving, like physically and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a little hesitant because she doesn't want to get played." Like I think she tells us
Hmm.
that, and I'm like, "That's smart," because again, I don't trust James. And then
Yeah.
Connor gets a text that there's going to be a recoupling tonight, and a guy will choose a girl, and a girl will be at risk of getting sent out the villa. Now, here's my thing: they keep alluding to maybe a girl leaving, but then I think in the preview it's like a girl will be dumped. So I'm like, why can't they just say anything definitively?
Right. It's confusing.
It's like I'm like, because I would assume based off watching this past season, like, yeah, a girl's gonna go home, but they were kind
Right.
of weird and unclear.
Yeah.
And then Caitlyn is nervous because it's between her and Justine, and Justine's all like, my journey has sucked so far, so I
Poor
hope I don't
Justine.
go. She's going through it.
She is.
And then Jeremiah and Johnny are talking, and Jeremiah thinks Trey's gonna pick Caitlyn, of course. But Johnny thinks he'll pick Justine. And
Hmm.
Johnny just goes, I don't want to see Justine's face when if she has to be rejected again. And like I'm like, that was sweet. I'm like,
Yeah.
that was shockingly sweet. Like he's like, I just don't want to see
Yeah.
her face rejection. And I'm like,
Johnny is
Johnny.
so sympathetic. He's got a big heart.
He is. This is why I'm like, what the fuck? I don't. What? I yeah. I don't. I wish I didn't know
What
about
do you
Kata.
what do you do in Casa that's so bad?
I know, right? Like, damn.
Maybe Casa being hard for Sally just means that it was hard and not that he was a terrible human.
She compared her experience to Kaylor's.
Oh gosh, okay, never mind. The more details, the
Remember,
worse it
in front
gets.
of Aaron, she's like, Kaylor, you should watch by yourself because I went through it and I watched it myself.
You're right, you're right, you're right.
But we'll see. Maybe it's not as
And
bad
Aaron's
as
like,
Aaron.
we'll watch it together.
Well, the thing about that is, it's more experience. It's more experience. Um,
Aaron's like, shut up, Sally. I'm watching it with her. I
Liv,
don't
why are you
care.
in this? Liv, why?
Why?
You just like Liv. You're trying to
You
get
could
at
tell he
me.
was heartbroken, Liv. He was crying.
Gosh,
Leah doesn't
Liv.
care.
Um, you know what? This just made me sad talking about it because okay, I've enjoyed season two, but season
Yeah,
six was just so good and they were
so
so
good.
dynamic. All these people it was so fun, like
No, it
pretending to
was.
be these people.
Yeah, and like how season two is produced is not as good as season six. Like,
It's not,
yeah, they never talked about the prize, but they talked about everything else. Like, we knew
right?
what was coming. There were no cliffhangers. Like, that's annoying. I mean, there
Yeah.
were cliffhangers like who's gonna go home sometimes, but y'all didn't even start the recoupling ceremony and the episode ended.
That part because it's so stupid because Caitlyn is freaking out. She thinks people are more Team Justine. So she's talking to James and Moira and it's like, could you
Hmm.
put in a good word with Trey for me? Like
Not the
they're treating
recruitment.
it like this is where the show becomes Big Brother because
Yeah.
then Moira talks to Trey and she's like, Caitlyn's my girl. So
I
like
hated this
you should
conversation.
keep
She just wants
her.
her friend to stay. But it's just
Yeah.
like, it's stupid. It's stupid.
It's dumb because then Connor and Mackenzie talk to Trey about keeping Justine. And I'm like, you know what, Connor and Mackenzie have a side eye on you, but because you're Team Justine, I'm
It's
kind of like,
fine.
all right.
Look, if people are recruiting for Caitlyn, then people need to recruit for Justine. But I felt like Moira's recruitment was stupid because she was basically like, I would hate to see her leave the villa and be the first one to leave. And it's like now it's like kind of making him feel guilty.
Right. And it's like
Whereas I feel
someone's
like
gotta
the
go.
yeah, and I feel like the other two, it was more like, well, I see you happy and like I see you connecting with her, and I think you guys could build something. Was James and Mackenzie, right?
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
Connor and Mackenzie.
Connor, Connor and Mackenzie,
We'll get it. We'll
asking
get it.
her, asking him like, okay, what do you think? And then poor Trey is stressed out, like y'all not. He was like, I'll leave you too to do what you do. And he's just like trying to find a way to get away. And then Justine sees him and is like, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, he's
Uh,
not all
I'm
right.
good. I'm good. And then he goes to the room, and all I could think of is Leah. He's doing his big one right now. He's just going around laying down, just like, I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. I'm just so torn. Like, I don't know who to choose, and I don't want to hurt
I
anyone. I'm
but
cold and I am shamed, and I'm lying naked on the floor.
Brandon,
Like, stop this performance. He is Rob in the water.
what? You're
But
no, you're
I'll
tripping,
say
Brandon.
this,
You're
he's
tripping.
giving theatrics like it, not to the extreme, obviously. But
Okay,
I
yeah, yeah.
will give him the benefit of the doubt. He's not going and making the other people feel bad. He's very much to himself about it, which I'm like he's kind of weird with Justine, but it's not like he's like, feel bad for me because I have to pick.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, at first I was like, that could have been a like I was kind of annoyed that he brushed her away because I was like, that could have been a moment for you guys to connect, maybe even for you to clear your mind up. Like Justine
Yeah.
legitimately cares about you, you know? But I'm sure he didn't want to put that on her too, the stress of the choice. I don't think he was being dramatic. I think he was like just annoyed because people are recruiting now and he's got to send somebody home and would feel bad about it. And I think Trey is very much like not a people pleaser, but I think he doesn't like to be the bad guy. He's very cautious of being the bad guy. Like he's like, I'm not a player. Not
He
anymore.
is.
I'm better now. Like he wants to be a good guy.
And it is interesting because the thing about those tables, they do turn. Because
Mm,
at the end of the first one, he was the one single and had his girl stolen. And now he's the
he's
one
gotta
that's
be.
gonna send someone home essentially.
Yeah, it's
And
tough.
it is tough. But again, we didn't get a recoupling. We're gonna get it next episode. Who do you
Mm-hmm. I
think he's gonna pick?
think he's gonna pick Justine.
I do too. Maybe.
Yeah, Brandon is obvious. Unless there's a twist.
Yeah, no, I think yeah,
Because
because
like we wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't be fans of like we know that Justine does really well on Love Island. Like people leave Love Island like loving Justine. So I think that means she stays for more than 5 days.
facts. It is, oh my gosh, this is kind of like, if you think about it, let's say Caitlyn does leave, because I mean, we're assuming she gets dumped, but they're kind of unclear about it.
Yeah.
So let's assume she gets dumped. It's almost like Coy, because remember, Coy
Oh
had
yeah.
three girls coming for him. Everyone wanted to be with Coy, and then he ends up being the first one dumped from the villa. And
Yeah.
now with Caitlyn, it's like, oh, so many people wanted her, and then she ends up being the first one dumped.
That doesn't make sense. Okay, wait, let's rewind. Who was it? It was Trey. Oh, it was Trey, Johnny, and Carrington, right?
Yes, because it was like she started with Carrington,
Mm-hmm.
then she talked with Johnny, and it
Mm-hmm.
was kind
And
of like,
Trey
what?
saw.
Yeah, and then Trey saw it was like, oh, let me talk to her. Trey encouraged Johnny to talk to
Trey
Caitlyn.
encouraged Johnny, which is crazy because like now that I think about it, Trey did not appreciate Sally.
No, not at
Because I didn't
all.
even see them connect at all, honestly. I saw Trey connecting with more. Granted, we probably didn't see it all.
Yeah, I think we saw them talk once, but it wasn't anything like, it was like nothing.
Yeah, but he was quick to make out with Caitlyn.
He was. So look,
She's like, the kisses with both of them were really nice,
I would say they're
but
comparable, but I think with Johnny or Trey, what she said, he's like a big brother. It's like,
now you want your brother to pick you? Girl,
anyways, I can't
decide.
decide.
That was
But
the end.
that was, we'll find out next time who
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna pick. Yeah, but our next episode on this pod, we're gonna be covering the season 6 reunion.
Reunion.
So that's exciting. I think that's it for today's
That's
episode.
it for today.
And
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. But in the meantime, you should give us 5 stars on
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts and
I
Spotify,
concur.
and even write us a podcast review. Show us some love.
Be
And
very demure, very mindful.
very mindful and demure with your comments. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Shade of It All Podcast, so you could see our very demure and mindful faces talk about the episode and not just listen.
Yes.
And then follow us on Instagram at The Shade of It All Pod, TikTok at The Shade of It All Podcast. We still post a lot of fun clips. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.